Welcome back, and in today's video, I am going to try something new. I'm going to talk about concrete footings, and instead of doing the whole entire series in one video, I know I'm not good enough yet right now to make a whole entire video 20 minutes long talking about concrete and have you guys watch all the way through. So instead, I'm going to do more bite-sized videos and try to keep their attention up that way instead, because again, people now have a low attention span and I'm just not good enough yet. So I feel like if I try these new smaller videos, maybe it might be more beneficial for you guys and it's easier to consume, so you have to jump around as much. So in this video, we're going to talk about concrete footings and how we construct those and some jargon around that. So hope you guys enjoy. Let's go. Okay, so now let's get to how exactly do we get the form layout? What exactly does that process look like? So usually you're going to have a layout guy come, and usually somebody from the company. His main job is to do the layout for all the jobs. And so he'll bring a machine. It's either going to be a Dremel or a builder's level. You don't see builder's levels that often anymore, but the Dremel, he'll get points from typing in the computer the geolocation. And then what he'll do is he'll take these little nails with these little plastic feathers, and he'll put the points in the ground where, you know, your forms either end or they jog and they move. So you'll get a good idea where they're going to be at. And so then you'll run stakes on each of those points, and then you'll have a long run and you'll have another stake, and you'll streamline that area so you know, okay, all the forms are going to be inside of here. You'll start putting stakes in that area, and eventually, you know, you'll fill that area in with, you know, material, whether it be, you know, 2x12 or plywood cut to a certain height. Now, usually when you're going to install like a 2x12 or plywood, you're going to have a stake at each end and probably a stake in the middle. And depending how long the run is, you might have 2 or 3 if you have like a 20-foot piece of, you know, 2x4. Or 2x12, should I say. Wherever you have places where you have corners or you have jogs, you want to reinforce that multiple times with multiple stakes, and then a stake running diagonally so that you're reinforcing that area. Those are the places that tend to blow out the most because they are the least secure. So you want to make sure that you reinforce those, because if you have a blowout, it's a nightmare for you and for the company. It's wasted material, and you might have to chip that out, or it makes it hard to strip. So you want to make sure that anywhere where there's going to be chances of that falling apart or having blowouts, you reinforce that. Now, sometimes if you're using, you know, 2x12 material or plywood and you have a joint, you want to make sure you also reinforce there. But sometimes when you're running your stakes, they're not perfectly plumb because the stakes are bowed out. So when you do hammer in the material, the forms are cockeyed. What you want to do is make something called a cleat, and a cleat is a piece of material that's cut off that can bridge that gap from one piece to another. What you'll do is you'll screw one side onto the formwork, and then put that other side of the cleat on the other piece of formwork, and then you'll screw it, and then it'll pull the pieces together, and it'll make it one solid piece. That's how you fortify, you know, breaks, and that's how you make it so that you don't have concrete getting in between those gaps and forcing its way and making that formwork open and having blowouts. So the more that it's more rigid and the more that you can make it seem like it's one piece coming together, the more it's going to be stronger, and so you're not going to have, you know, problems moving forward when you're actually pouring the concrete. Simple rule of thumb: the faster you get your footings done, the faster people can come behind you and install either material as far as electricians, if you have, you know, lighting treatments that are going to be in these footings or in the walls, rebar like verts that are going to be set up for your stem walls you might be putting on top of that, or stairs. The sooner you guys get done and it's done properly, the sooner other trades can get in and start doing work. So a lot of times the schedules are going to be tight, so you might have a portion done and then they're going to call for rebar. This stuff is already scheduled, you know, weeks and months in advance, and so they're depending on you to get done quickly. And if there's been, like, you know, slowdowns, or if there's been, like, you know, inclement weather, that isn't really going to change anything. Like, they're not going to give you more time. Most of the time you're going to be pushed hard. So make sure that you're trying to do the best job, but also know that there are other people behind you waiting. So you want to make sure you're getting that done properly. And once they installing rebar, you're going to want to make sure that you put on rebar caps or run a 2x on top of that, because that is like a skewering hazard. You might be able to fall. Like I said, a lot of times when you are doing footings, you are working in the dirt. So a lot of times the material under your feet is going to crumble a lot. So make sure that you are protecting yourself. You're wearing safety glasses, because it'd be a tragedy for you to slip and fall and then get skewered by a piece of rebar. It could happen. It's easy. I've tripped and fell and, caught my hand on a piece of rebar and sliced it up. So again, make sure that you are doing the safety aspects of the job as you're working. So footings tend to be super underrated. They don't get the same respect that, the walls do or stairs do as far as concrete, but they're super important because they are the main building block. They are what's supporting all of the other structures that go on top of it. I understand a lot of times they get buried, and so you're not gonna worry about it aesthetically how it looks, but it's super important that they're level and they're a nice surface to build on top of, because the worse the surface is on top of it and the less level it is, the harder it's gonna be to build on it. You're gonna have to do a lot more things as far as putting more 2x under there, wedging stuff. Now you have to worry about things blowing out as far as your walls, because now they're teeter-tottering, or you might have to grind stuff down. So it's important that you take the time when you are pouring footings to make sure that they are level and plumb. That's just the basics of footings. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section. If you have any advice or if you have any little tricks that let me know in the comment section. I'm making these videos a little bit shorter, so again, they're more bite-sized and I can keep the retention level up. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys.